watch it again, the clues all stare you in the face. Like she mentions in the film, like in the Why, hello there YouTube and welcome back to 31. So we're on day 10 now, so we're 10 days in to this 31 days. So yeah, also, I'm probably not the only one here doing this. There's probably loads more of the horror YouTube channels out there doing this 31 days. You just type it in, 31 days of horror or Halloween, whatever. You'll find some other channel that might be doing it and that. So yeah, anyway. On to today's review. So today it's 60s week and I'm reviewing Last Night in Soho. So yeah, this came out in 2021. It's also set in 2021, but we go back to the 60s in this because a young fashion student named Ellie, played by Thomasin McKenzie, after not having much luck with her student accommodation, she finds a room to tenant in Soho where she meets this old woman named Miss Collins, played by the late Diana Rigg. But then she starts to have nightmares of this young, she starts to see the life of this young woman named Sandie, played by Anya Taylor-Joy in the 60s, and how she had this relationship with a man named Jack, played by the former Doctor Who, Matt Smith. And we see that there's dark things going on and Ellie believes she was murdered. Then there's this old guy played by Terrance and she believes that's him, now an old guy. And of course she tries to ravel the mystery behind all this whilst being haunted by the evil spirits of that time. So, and also she then does find out what's happening in a big twist reveal where, Sandie is alive. And she's been there the whole time under her nose. So what did I like about this movie? Well, this was from Edger Wright. So if you know Edger Wright, he gave us the Cornetto trilogy, Spaced. Before that, he gave us Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I believe this was his first dive into proper horror. I mean, yeah, we had Shaun of the Dead and that, which was like comedy horror, but straightforward horror. No comedy this time. So Edger Wright, stepping into this genre, he's a natural. He was a natural director, and I thought he did a great job making this movie and co-writing it as well. I also liked our three leading ladies, Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy and the late Diana Rigg. They played good roles, especially Ellie, who was our main protagonist, who at first was enjoying these visions of Sandie in the 60s. And then of course there is the big twist reveal where Sandie isn't dead and she turns out to be Miss Collins, Diana Rigg's character, and it's in a big twist reveal. And of course this is one of these films where if you watch it again, the clues all stare you in the face. Like she mentions in the film, like in the film we find out that Sandie killed Jack and she killed every man that tried to take advantage of her, and then she buried them within the floorboards and the walls of the room that Ellie stays in. And she does tell her that in the summer months the drains really smell bad and she should put the plug in the sink and everything. But that is a clue. See, if you watch this film in a second go around, you actually do see clues that hint to you about, the like when she mentions that about the drains. Of course, we now know on the second viewing that that smell is actually the decaying bodies within the walls and the ceilings of the house, or the room that she rents out to Ellie. I also thought Anya Taylor-Joy was great in this. She's just great in everything I see her in. Also, Matt Smith, ever since Terminator Genesis, he seems to have become the go-to to play the bad guy and stuff. Not that I'm complaining, he played a good villain in this role in this. Also, Terrance Stamp. It turns out he's not who we think he is either. Turns out back in the 60s he was a local copper that was trying to help the young women with human trafficking. So I like that there's twists and turns in this. Also, dark elements as well. We even get Mrs. Doyle in this from Father Ted appear as a barmaid, which I was like, hey, it's Mrs. Doyle. I thought the soundtrack as well. The soundtrack was just... I like 60s music, and this had a great 60s soundtrack from its opening song, where we see it first start off as like a coming-of-age drama where we follow Ellie, an ambitious fashion student that wants to make it big in London, and she befriends a young guy in it called is it John? Yeah, who is her friend in this, later turned boyfriend by the end, I think. And they, I like their friendship and the relationship that forms there. I also like that this also plays into Halloween as well. There's one bit in the movie where it goes into the Halloween season. Also, I thought it's had good cinematography, just good everything. It was quite quickly. In fact, it wasn't slow paced, but when it got to the horror, I didn't mind. I liked how it just started off as like this sort of nice drama thing, but then as the film goes on, it delves more and more into horror, and as she unfolds the mystery of going back to the 1960s to follow Sandie and to try and find out, this murder mystery that's been going on in the past. Yeah, I liked the whole premise of this film. And when I saw the trailer, I thought, I'm going to like this. And you know what? I actually did. It was definitely one of my favourite horror movies of 2021. And a great, call back to the 60s. Like I say, it had a great 60s soundtrack of classics. And, I can't recommend this enough. I pretty much love nearly everything Edger Wright does. So, yeah, Last Night in Soho. I, highly recommend it to supernatural horror fans out there and the 60s lovers, especially if you love Heartbeat and that. And this film is literally just under 2 hours. It's about 117 minutes, and it's like, I just enjoyed watching it. Great film. Very, very dark elements in there. Quite a lot of disturbing scenes as well, I should warn you, and some, brutality and that. But all in all, I thought this was a great film and I enjoyed it. So, ratings. I will give Last Night in Soho, again, I'll give it 5 stabs out of 5. Yeah. This was also the final film of Diana Rigg before she passed away. She managed to film all her bits, but sadly never got to see her final outing. Rest in peace, Diana Rigg. Or Dame Diana Rigg, I should say. So yeah, there you go. There is my review for today. Have you seen this one? Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are down below in the description, so you can check all that out. You can watch all of 31 so far on this channel, and also I will see you tomorrow for... We've got 2 more 60s reviews to come. 2 more days of 60s week, then we go to a new week and a new theme. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, don't have nightmares.